Hey, Jazz.
Hey, Mom.
And hello, everyone. Anyone who's listening right now. If you're listening, put in the chat. Just give us a wave. Tell us where you're dialing in from. If you're watching the replay, type replay so I know that you stopped by. So tonight, and we're only here for a short while. I have my beautiful baby girl with me tonight um, for Radical Belief Unscripted. My goal for these conversations, and this is only the second one, Jazz. So, um, my goal for these conversations, this is a mini series, so it's not something that I foresee going on and on and on. Um, but I wanted to bring life to those words, radical belief. I wanted them to resonate with people. I want people to understand that kind of this is beyond a journal. You know what I'm saying? It's beyond, this is really my entire life has evolved around radically believing, and I just didn't know that that's what it was. So tonight I want to share a really personal story. Are you going away?
No, I'm not.
Tonight I want to share a really personal story. Um, and I have Jazzy here because she's a part of that story. So when before I get into that, when Jazzy, I had devotions for about a year. And the women who came to that call, including you, because I was on the call with you one day and you shared something about
Mental.
depression and just some other stuff that I had no idea about, right? Um, so many people are carrying things that we don't necessarily share out loud, we don't talk about. And for my generation, some of it is taboo. I, how does your generation feel about this vulnerability and just being open about things going on, and
Mm.
sharing? I mean, do y'all just kind of live out loud, or what's the tea with y'all?
I can only speak for myself, but I do
Yourself,
feel
your
like,
friends.
yeah, I mean, I could speak for myself and some of my friends, I guess. I think my generation is very loud, at times probably too loud, right? I mean, social media is definitely a beast now because we have a lot of feedback, both positive and negative.
Yeah.
And that has a huge play on mental health. So that's probably, I'm an oversharer. So that's, feeds into that. But
What
also,
makes it oversharing though? I mean, what makes it over? How do you know when you're oversharing? Because maybe I'm about to
oh,
overshare.
you are an oversharer. You are an oversharer. I feel like it's people who are comfortable on the camera who are oversharers. And maybe that's just a definition that came about recently, right? Some people back in the day, we were all oversharing. I was on Facebook talking about, hey, go and hang out with this friend at this place, doing this thing. And back then it wasn't a big deal, but now people are like, starting to get back into themselves. Let's have separation from social media to personal life. Let's set up boundaries, let's do this and that. So I think people are just becoming aware of how big sharing on a huge platform or a platform at all has a big effect on your mental health. And I think that's where all you know
Yeah.
it
So
comes
that's
down
sharing. It sounds like that's sharing from a different space, because when I think about sharing, I think about who I'm helping as I share,
to. Mhm.
right? And so when I overshare, as you call it, my goal, even for this conversation, is for people to hear it, hear the story, hear um, my steps, parts of my journey, and see themselves in it, and
Resonate.
feel like, okay, I'm not really on my own on this one. There's somebody else out there who gets it, right? And the Bible and Christianity and the church has such a connotation that you have to be buttoned up, and you can't have these thoughts, have these feelings, have these emotions, have these experiences, and still be accepted. And that's not the lens that this radical belief is written from. It's not the lens that I lead from. So that said, you little girl, and I just told, when did we have this conversation? Like Thursday.
Yeah, it was Friday. The day of
Friday.
30 minutes before my party, my
Oh
house.
my gosh. So Jazz and I, her name is Mariah. She's Jazzy to me. Jazz and I talk a lot about a lot of different things, and I really thought I shared this part of my story with her, and she's like, "What?"
Wait until y'all hear the story. No, I'm like,
So, Jazzy almost didn't make it into this world because um, you were born in '99. So I became separated from her father, my ex husband, before she was born. We were separating when I found out I was pregnant with her. And my very first reaction was, I need to have an abortion. I can't have another kid. Um, she's number 5. So I had 4 children under the age of 9 at the time. My then husband is leaving, and I'm like, I can't have another kid. What am I going to do? I didn't have a college education. I didn't have a great job. How am I going to manage a new baby and 4 small children under the age of 9, as I said? And I called. I looked up a place. I'll never forget it. I was working for a local hospice doing some clerical work. And in my time, on the desk or whatever, I looked up a place, and I called and I made an appointment. And I just could not go through with it. I missed the appointment on purpose. And the rest is history. Little mama sitting here with me.
I made it.
She made it.
And lucky me, but also lucky Lisa. I'm a mini her. So she was blessed. I was blessed.
Oh my gosh. I shared I share this story again because how many people were like me, carrying around, or even right now, carrying around this secret, this thing they don't want anybody to know, and on the inside it just sits and it sits. And now that's not the first time I've told that story. I haven't shared it publicly. I thought I told her. Maybe it was one of your sisters or something. I don't know. But I think it's important to have these conversations. That's the point of it. And when you bring God in to the conversation, that makes it all the more important. God is not somewhere sitting with his eyes closed like this. When we do things and when we think things, he gets it, he understands. And my goal, I guess, is to humanize Christianity, like humanize. I don't even like the word religion because it carries such a heavy connotation. But radically believing for me is I could be in that situation, and people just don't know how difficult it was in the moment. Um, who said Miss Mariah was supposed to be here? Yes, she was. People don't realize in the moment how hard it was to walk through that. And on the other side of it, I learned that that same man, the man I married, her father, left us, all of us, for another lady, another woman who was pregnant. So, had I gone through with that abortion, I would have been sitting there listening and knowing that this other woman had a baby. I chose to not have mine. She had hers, and that would have sent me really. Hi, Letitia. Thanks for joining. So I don't want people to have shame around abortion. I don't want people to have shame around financial hardships. I don't want people to have shame around any struggle, any challenge. Radical belief is just that. We have to radically believe in who we are and who God created us to be. Now, let me ask you, Jazz,
Mm-hmm.
hearing me talk about um, being in a space where I contemplated aborting you. I know we laughed and joked about it a little bit, and we're 26 years down the road. How did that land when
I mean, I was shocked, but also putting myself in your shoes. First off, I can't imagine how difficult it is or was to even make that appointment and have to make that decision. You shouldn't have been in that spot in the first place, in my opinion. Um, but to not go through with it shows how much you had radical belief, how much you believed in yourself to get through whatever you were getting through. Because I can't say if I were in that position with 4 kids under the age of 9 that I would do the same. I mean, it's from my standpoint, I'm like, woo, because I'm here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I know who you are now, but I don't remember the struggles that you went through because, again, I was the youngest. So by the time I grew up and was remembering and had childhood memories and whatnot, you were already in a safe place. So yeah.
it was the hardest, and I'm so glad you don't remember.
Me too.
You're older.
Me too. Because I mean, honestly, it could have affected me. And I'm sure you'll bring on other siblings potentially, but they have different life experiences than I do, and it shaped them to be different people than I am. And so even they've had their own struggles in certain ways. And is that because of what they grew up with? Is it because of the life they lived past that? I don't know, but I feel like I've had a wonderful life, so I'm very thankful. I don't remember those hardships for sure.
It was my pregnancy with you was probably one of the hardest points of my divorce era and just separation and the whole thing because this man walks out on me. I've got 5 little ones now. I had no education, no formal college education. So for me, that meant, $9 an hour jobs, $10 an hour jobs, food stamps.
I do remember we used to coupon. I used to think it was fun cutting up little coupons every weekend
Yeah,
in our
yeah,
coupon pouch. Going to the store and getting those, checked. But I mean, I didn't know what that meant at that age.
of course, of
It
course.
was fun, and that was the activity we did every weekend together. It was
There's
time.
something else you don't know. I'm pretty sure I didn't share this. I didn't even have my first prenatal checkup until I was about 5 or 6 months pregnant. Nobody knew. I was so ashamed. Oh my God, I could cry. I was so ashamed and so embarrassed
Mm,
by that whole thing. Not you, of course,
no, but
but
yeah.
the situation. And I was too, I felt so low. I didn't even want to confront it to a physician, to a doctor. I didn't want to go I just tried it as best I could to disconnect. And again, that's why I'm so glad that first you are here. Second, that um you understand, because not all kids could sit and listen to this and just kind of, and 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 third, that you don't remember. It didn't impact you. It could have. It could have. And so, radical belief for me, this journal, this devotional, my sincere goal is to help people become free from some of the weight. Man, the weight we carry, the things that we have lived through that nobody else knows. And we have this phrase of taking it to our grave. Is that something your people say?
Yeah.
You just take it to your grave. And I get it. Something, I mean, you can't share everything, but things that are born out of guilt, shame, condemnation have no space in our lives as we're living and we're believing God for things. We got to get to a place, and I want to help people get to a place that it doesn't matter what you've been through. God is with us. God never, ever, 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 ever left me, ever. In any of that, as dark as my days were, he was right there beside me. And I want people to know and understand that radical belief it's empowering, and it sounds, like something to encourage, and I want it to, but it's also real. So one of the things I wanted you to do is talk about your radical belief story. So I've shared a little bit of mine, and I want to hear yours. And when I asked for, just for everybody else, when I said Jazz, the only thing we're gonna, because this is unscripted, we didn't rehearse anything, nothing. I said, Jazz, the only thing I want you to prepare is think about your radical belief story. And she was like, oh my God, I mean, I haven't been through anything. Like, she's 26. And so I said, well, your radical belief story doesn't have to be traumatic. I got all the trauma stories. Yours doesn't have to be. And so I said, just bring whatever you got and bring it to the call, and let's talk about it. So what do you radically believe in God for?
I radically believe in God for, I've had, as you mentioned prior, and before, maybe it was before the call started, that I've had mental health struggles. And I'm not a very open person with my family. I'm not a very open person with anyone, really, except my partner. I don't like to talk about feelings. I don't know why that is. I just hold everything in. But he has helped me through a lot of dark moments in my life, and they're brief, thankfully. I'm not easily, but I do a lot of things in my life: yoga, walks, sunshine, speak to my partner, listen to music, go to church. That help me get out of those dark spells, but they happen every once in a while. And the only thing that pulls me out of it most of the time, and this even just happened this past Sunday, is going to church. Because when I'm in church, especially a place that I feel like is community driven and that I feel seen and heard in, it's just I'm sure you all know, or maybe you don't, it's a surreal experience that helps you get out of whatever you're going through. There's always a word or something that someone says that pulls you out of that darkness. So that's what I radically believe in, is just when I constantly go through these mental, hurdles and battles, he's always there for me. But also, I have belief in, something positive is just my future. I feel like every time I feel down or something's not going my way, another door opens.
Yeah.
That also just happened. So it's really, really exciting. At 26, you lose so many friends and so many doors get closed, and it feels like your whole life is getting flipped upside down. And when that happened just a couple weeks ago, another door opened, a better door opened. And it's just so it's he's always there for me. So I'll never stop believing in God, and I'll never stop putting him first. A lot of times, you have ebbs and flows of how you put him in your life or what you do to keep him at the center of your life, but every time I do, it's always positive. So
Something you said, how the church or going to church or community driven church pulls you out of the dark spaces.
mm-hmm.
That's kind of that's my goal. I'm not church,
But
obviously,
creating a community.
but creating a space, a community
Mm.
that pulls people out of that dark space.
That makes you feel seen and not alone. That's
That's
your goal.
it. That's it. Thank
Yeah.
you for putting words to that.
Yeah.
Because, I'm a caregiver for anybody listening and who may or may not know. My mom's 98 and I'm with her day in and day out. And it's hard. And I haven't physically been to church in several years. Um, Largely because I have my mom. And maybe I visited a time or two when she was not here and she was with my sister in Texas. But the point is, I can't go on a regular basis. And it's things like journals,
Mm-hmm.
live streams, and things, spaces where I can connect. Church is great, but it's not the only place we can get the word. It's not the only place we can feel seen, feel heard, feel embraced. And so on January 5th, I want, if anybody's listening, I should have said this earlier because I know people have attention span of a gnat. On January 5th, I am starting up my online devotional community again. We paused. I went for a whole year. I paused. December 6th was the last day, and December 7th, we celebrated it. It's sunset. And in that time and space, a lot of things have happened between then and now. And one of those great things is I wrote my book, and I actually have a sample. I have a sample of my book. Here it
My
is.
mom is the author, everyone.
Woo!
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
me one.
Yes.
I
And
just
so,
started journaling, so this is very new.
yeah, so here is part of my story. And then the book is divided into 4 sections. Um, and I love, shout out to Soul Therapy Media for her design work. We start in the awakening. It's faith that remembers. We move into surrender, which is faith that trusts. We slide on over to restoration, faith that heals, and then we move into activation. And that's faith that acts.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 40-day journey that I'm asking people to take with me in my community beginning January the 5th. I am so very excited and I am so very thankful. I'm hugging my book really tight because it's God's gift to me. It's my gift to the world and God's gift to me. And so thank you, little lady, for allowing me to share part of my story, something I've never publicly shared. Thank you for understanding and seeing me, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
And anything you want to share about where you're going next. And if anybody has a prayer request that is listening, please drop it. DM me, put it in the comment section. You don't have to be specific about what it is. Just say I need prayer, or you can be specific. It's up to you. Anything you want to share with the community, whoever watches, before we leave, Jazz?
Nothing. Thank you, Monica. That was for you, Lisa. Mom. Congrats on your journey.
Thank you, Monica.
Nothing I want to share, but I think this whole story has enlightened my journey in many ways, including with my father. So this makes me look at him even more kind of sideways.
That was not my intention.
No, I know. But it's just a shame. And so I have to think about that and journal about that in my Radical Belief journal.
Okay.
And see how I feel about that. This is, again, the first time I'm really hearing these things. So it takes time to digest. But that is where I leave off with that story. And as of life, I'm just excited to keep on growing. Being 26, I feel grateful, but also I feel like I'm behind in so many ways.
You're not. You're not.
Life is crazy nowadays. There's a lot of expectations on us young adults. The economy, society, social media, there's just so many paths you can take now, which is a great opportunity, but also overwhelming at times. So I'm excited to continue digging into myself. My goal for 2026 is just to find myself and put myself first, after God. Yeah. No people pleasing, filling up my cup. So
yes,
we're going to see where that
yes.
me, and Lisa, you need to do the same.
She keeps me in line, everyone. She keeps me in line.
I do. I have to crack down somehow. gives, which is fantastic to have a leader who does that and a mother who does that, but she has to give to herself or she cannot give to her community. So somebody tell her, Monica,
yeah. Well, thanks, Jazz, for this opportunity. And I'm really, before I go, the one thing I want to say to you is there's nothing ever that you have to carry around like I did that you can't share with me or with me. I'm not going to speak for anybody with me.
Mm-hmm.
You just never have to do it. And I hope you know from today and anything else I've ever shared that's not the goal. None of us need to suffer in silence. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right, my love, kisses and hugs. Thank you for coming on with me. Thank you for whoever's joined us or whoever will watch the replay. I so very much appreciate you. And drop those prayer requests in the comments, DM me or email or however you want to send it. And I'll see you, God willing, next week. Don't forget, you can order your book at radicalbelief.com.
Makes a great Christmas gift and a good New Year's resolution.
Yes. Thank you, baby girl.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.